Charlie, I think you
Go.
got to look at those four guys you got coming in here. And now I know you had a good bit to do with them getting here, but speaking purely from a defensive line coach standpoint, I feel like you hit the jackpot today.
Yeah, I couldn't be more excited. I'll tell you, this has been a long recruiting process, especially with the three local guys, and I can't tip my hat enough to Corey Sanders and the job he does recruiting this area, and it was a team effort. I mean, when from the beginning of the 2021 recruiting board, it was kind of understood that all decisions regarding D linemen that we were going to recruit really worked through those three local players, to be honest with you. And they were all compared to those three. Obviously, Naquan is a great player, and we're excited about the late addition of him. But you're right, I do feel like I won the Powerball. The only difference is if I won the Powerball, I may or may not be standing at this podium right now. So, yeah, it's a good day. I'm excited about the future of the D line. Thanks, Chris. I'll be here all day. I made you chuckle.
Charlie, do you see Quan as a defensive lineman? I know he's been listed as D end or outside linebacker.
Yeah, certainly versatile, right? He that's where I do see him. I mean, he's got all the abilities you want to be able to rush the passer, but he's got some development to do physically, some weight to gain. He's got the frame to do it. But you've seen the film. You can see how explosive he is, and some of our packages could allow him to be a linebacker that does some blitzing, does some dropping as he continues to grow and gain strength and add weight.
Charlie, when you have, well, any year, but especially this year when you have so many highly thought of and sought after players at that position, what are those moments leading up to today like? And is there anxiousness? What's that like leading up until you know that they've signed?
Chris, I've been doing this long enough where I am never comfortable until the now DocuSign comes through, no longer the fax, right? It's just the nature of recruiting. I think these kids were all four of them, highly sought after, and I'm going to be the same guy that checks in with players that I've had a relationship, built with, and I'm sure that there were other coaches that were checking in with these guys all the way up to signing day, and give them a ton of credit. They have been strong. They've held strong, and they're excited to get here and be a part of what we're doing on defense, and certainly represent this great city. And again, like I said, bringing another great player from Virginia. Tip my hat to Chris Beatty. I didn't say anything about him, but this is a great group. But to answer your question, the short story of it is, yeah, I had anxiety until all four of those came in. That's the nature of it, regardless.
Charlie, would you like things to get back to normal next year, in the next recruiting cycle, when you can actually go see these kids, maybe in the spring, maybe in the summer?
Yeah, there's no question. I've had enough of Zoom. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in person. It's challenging, right? I mean, the good news is, if it's going to happen on any given year, I do think if you look across the country, and certainly with regards to our class, while we did reach outside our region for a handful, it is going to create some more regional recruiting. And thankfully, we had some great prospects within the region, some coaches that did an amazing job regionally, and it played into our favor that way because we were on some guys within the region that had been able to get here without the official visit. Think about this entire class, none of them took an official visit. That's a wild thing to contemplate and consider. Their official visits were via Zoom, whatever that means. So yes, Jerry, to answer your question, to get down and evaluate players in person and to build that relationship with them that way, I'm very, very much looking forward to that. Just like all of us are looking forward to taking these things off, right? And getting on with life as we know it. And I'm excited for it to get that way, and hopefully by sometime in the summer, we're all back to normal.
Charlie, I wanted to ask about official visits. These past 2 years, you had a big hand in bringing up a lot of guys from Florida to visit Pittsburgh in June.
Yep.
You weren't able to do that this year. Was it kind of harder to sell a Florida kid on Pittsburgh without bringing them here?
Yeah, it's hard to get someone to commit to somewhere without ever having seen it. Now, we've certainly done that with a few of these players, and guys did a great job, but it is challenging. And like you said, a lot of the kids that we have signed from South Florida were due to those official visits and what they felt. A lot of recruiting is what you feel when you're there. And Pittsburgh is a special city. It's a special place with special people. And it's hard to create that, via Zoom. You do the best you can. And, again, you get creative. You create videos. You have Lewis Riddick, you put one together that tries to get you a feel. But at the end of the day, getting kids here on campus at some point in their high school career is going to give you the best chance to get someone to come to your program.
Coach, I know Coach Beatty just said DJ's still considering Kenny with the big news last night, but you know that you're losing a bunch of key guys. Do you feel like you have the group to just plug in those holes and just keep rolling?
Well, again, it's not the first time I've been a part of a great player going to the NFL, and to sit here and say we've got a Weaver replacement and a Pat Jones replacement is certainly a crazy thing to say. I'm really excited about the group we have coming up. Haba, John Morgan, Deslin, the tackles that got so much experience. Obviously, those guys are coming back. If you remember last year, we didn't play with Weaver. This year we didn't play with Jalen Twyman. That's college football. We can't re-sign them to another contract or put a franchise tag on them. This is part of it, and it's a great question. I mean, at the end of the day, if you have your position or your program built, you have a group of guys that are your starters, you have a group of guys that are rotating, and you have a group of guys that are developing. And I think right now you're starting to see the D-line that has that. Let's just take Dayon Hayes, who got maybe somewhere between 10 and 20 snaps this year and a couple sacks. He wouldn't forgive me if I didn't mention that fact. But there's a young man who's developing that people don't know a whole lot about other than local media and some of the recruitniks, so to speak. I mean, that's a kid who's developing along with those other guys that have been rotating in, and you just work your way into categories. I know that's a long story, but I feel really good about the future of the defensive line and where we're going to go, and the way we do things around here defensively puts them in good positions as well.
So how much does that do for the whole process that you just talked about? When you have guys that come to your program that were not super heralded, high star recruits, sure thing guys that end up leaving it as projected top 1 or 2 round draft picks, how does that help the whole process that you just talked about there?
Well, I think what it does is it gives the players, one in your room that are already there, that are in that development process, confidence that if I just stay the course, stick to it, that I can do really, really good things if I do things the right way. It also gives recruits confidence that a coach and a system, I can be developed by this coach and I can develop within this system, and I have a chance to do really good things. There's no doubt that when a young man comes in, like you said, to use your phrase, unheralded, has less stars than maybe the kid who is not a surefire top player coming in out of high school based on ratings, but yet you develop him and he flies past some of those 4 and 5 star kids. When you're doing that and you've done it with more than 1 or 2, or you had a chance to do it throughout your career, gives your current room and hopefully your future room a lot of confidence about what can be done.
Follow up, how happy are you to have a Donald back in your defensive scheme?
Man, I'll tell you what, I wish I had a chance to coach Aaron Donald, but I've been around him enough to get a feel for what he's all about, and we all see what he does just about every Sunday. One of the challenges we actually had with Elliott was, believe it or not, and he loves his uncle and is proud of his uncle, but Elliott has a unique nature about him in that he wants to be his own story. That was a challenge that we had to get through at times, to be honest with you. And while he's very proud of what his uncle is doing, I think Elliott is going to come in and play his game and do things his way. And I think he's got a really bright future ahead of him as long as he continues to work the way he does. And quite honestly, he's addicted to work, which I love. And I heard Coach Narduzzi earlier talk about how he was going to work out in his grandfather's basement. I'll call him on any given Saturday night. I mean, that's one of the unique things. You talk about this recruiting, when it went to unlimited calls And kids don't pick up phone calls. They pick up FaceTime, which is bizarre. And then when they pick up the FaceTime, and I'm sorry, I'm off on a tangent right now, but they pick their phone up. If you have kids, just do me a favor, show me your hand if you have kids. My kids will call their friends on FaceTime, but sit the phone on their table and it's looking at the ceiling. I don't get it. It's like a weird speakerphone thing. But anyway, I'll FaceTime, Elliot, and it'll be a Saturday evening because, again, unlimited calls, and he's working out, or he really loved one of the favorite things that he enjoyed the most. One of his favorite things, I should say, was when we really got into film. When we really got into it. When you got past the chit chat and you got past, how's school going? How's your girlfriend? How's the family? Coach, can we watch some film? And I'm telling you, there were some hour and a half sessions where we really got into it. And for him to already be kind of addicted to watching film and learning that way, that's a great sign. But to answer your original question, how could we not be happy to have another Donald in this program? Are you kidding me? It's awesome. It's great.
And Charlie, being a Pitt man, did Aaron help you out with Elliot much?
I think obviously, Aaron's proud to be here. We never called on Aaron for that help. We really, once we understood that Elliot wanted to make his own decision, that we kind of, and again, there's only so much you can do within the rules in terms of that stuff anyway, right? But certainly we focused on what we believed we could do for Elliot's development, outside of the fact that he's related to Aaron. Aaron is a special player and carries himself in a special way as a person. But honestly, Jerry, we really focused on Elliot and Elliot's future and Elliot's potential development, and kind of tried to draw a line there that we're going to help you be the best you.
Charlie, what was your reaction to Kenny deciding to come back, and what does that mean for the program?
Well, I'm happy for Kenny. Obviously, I was excited as anybody last night when I got the news. We're all thrilled, and it says a lot for Kenny's feelings towards this program, towards the city, towards what he believes that he can continue to do here, and to help him in his future endeavors beyond Pitt. I think he intends to come back here, have a special year, and then go on and have an amazing career beyond Pitt as a quarterback. And really, really happy for him. I think it was a good choice. I think he got some really good advice. And, one time I will remember in my career, and the guys did a great job in practice of avoiding Kenny. So here's a D-line coach's perspective. I was at Wisconsin when Russell Wilson came in, and it didn't take us long to figure out Russell was unique. And I didn't have to say one time to the D-line, stay away from the quarterback. If they won their pass rush and they were getting close to Russell, they ran. And I foresee that same response happening in the future here with Kenny as we move forward.
Any final questions for Coach Partridge? All good. Well, Charlie, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Stay safe in that weather. Hail to Pitt. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Charlie.